soldiers of Ukraine's 110th Territorial Defense Brigade carried out one of their most daring raids yet. Under the cover of darkness, they struck deep into enemy positions, and what followed was a storm of fire and steel. Russian troops had fortified themselves with dugouts and shelters, believing they were safe from attack. But safety is an illusion when Ukrainian FPV drones take to the skies. Each drone flew low and fast, guided with precision, seeking out targets hidden in the earth. Within moments, explosions tore through the Russian defenses. One by one, dugouts were destroyed, wooden beams shattered, earth collapsed, and those inside had no chance to resist. The ground shook as more drones arrived, each strike aimed with deadly accuracy. Then, the assault turned even more devastating. A Russian self-propelled artillery complex, an essential weapon meant to shell Ukrainian lines, was caught in the open. Before its crew could react, a drone slammed into it, setting off a chain of explosions. The machine was reduced to twisted wreckage, a burning monument to failed Russian firepower. But the raid did not stop there. Russian infantry, hastily assembled into an assault group, tried to move forward. They were immediately spotted, their formation broken apart by more drones. Panic spread as men scattered, but the drones hunted them down mercilessly. What began as an organized unit ended in chaos, with the battlefield littered with abandoned weapons and shattered morale. This was not just a strike. It was a message: no position is safe, no weapon untouchable, no shelter strong enough. The 110th Brigade showed how Ukraine's fighters, armed with determination, skill, and modern technology, can dismantle entire enemy formations in a single raid. For the Russian troops who survived, the lesson was brutal. The night belongs to Ukraine's drones. The fighters of Ukraine's 14th Separate Mechanized Brigade, named after Prince Roman the Great, carried out a flawless hunt. A Russian reconnaissance group thought they were moving undetected, but every step was being tracked. Patiently, the Ukrainians followed them all the way to their hiding place. What the enemy believed was a safe shelter would soon become their final position. Then came the drones. Small, fast, and merciless, FPV strike drones closed in with surgical precision. The first impact tore through their transport, leaving nothing but fire and twisted metal. Before the stunned soldiers could even react, more drones struck. The motorized transport was reduced to wreckage, and the shelter itself erupted in flames. In a matter of moments, the entire group was eliminated. There was no chance of rescue, no escape, no survivors. This strike was more than just a victory. It was a warning. Against Ukraine's drone operators, there is nowhere to hide. The Ukrainian military has unveiled a new innovation in air defense, an FPV drone armed with an automatic shotgun, designed to chase enemy drones out of the sky. This simple yet deadly solution has already proven itself in battle. Instead of waiting for incoming threats, these drones actively hunt, locking onto targets and firing bursts that tear enemy machines apart mid-flight. It is no longer just drones striking ground targets. Now, the sky itself has become a battlefield, where Ukrainian operators stalk their opponents in a deadly aerial duel. This is the future of drone warfare, a standoff hunt where only one side survives. The fighters of Ukraine's 72nd Separate Airborne Assault Brigade once again proved their mastery on the battlefield. Russia threw everything into this attack: tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and waves of soldiers, hoping to break through and capture Ukrainian positions. But it was a fatal mistake. Ukrainian defenders already knew what was coming. Reconnaissance spotted the enemy in advance, FPV drones prepared the skies, and soldiers fortified their ground. When the assault began, it turned into a trap. Drones struck with precision, vehicles erupted in flames, and entire armored columns stalled under relentless fire. Those who tried to take cover only dug their own graves. The battlefield became a cemetery of Russian machines and men. One brigade, working as one, stopped an entire assault force in its tracks. The 72nd showed once again. In this, Russian troops launched yet another assault on Ukrainian positions. Their tanks and infantry fighting vehicles rolled forward, covered in improvised armor, fitted with protective cages, and equipped with electronic warfare systems. They believed this would shield them from Ukraine's FPV drones. But against the fighters of Ukraine's 414th Separate Brigade of unmanned systems, such defenses meant nothing. From above, operators tracked every movement. FPV drones dove with precision, striking at weak points again and again. Within moments, the Russian advance ground to a halt. One vehicle after another was disabled. Crews panicked, abandoning their machines and fleeing across the battlefield. Their drone-proof armor had failed them completely. For Ukraine, disabling the equipment was only the beginning. The abandoned tanks and fighting vehicles were quickly finished off, burned to the ground with follow-up strikes. Nothing was left for the enemy to repair, reuse, or recover. This battle was more than just a defense. It was a demonstration of how modern warfare is shifting, where expensive armored columns are stopped cold by small, inexpensive drones and skilled hands. The 414th Brigade turned Russia's assault. A massive Russian position has fallen, not to an army, but to just 3 fighters of Ukraine's 80th Separate Airborne Assault Brigade. With the help of a reconnaissance drone overhead, every movement of the enemy was exposed. The drone revealed their numbers, their shelters, their exact positions, giving the paratroopers the advantage they needed. Moving with precision, the 3 soldiers advanced. From dugout to dugout, they fought without hesitation. Grenades cleared shelters, rifles finished the job, and terrified opponents were forced to surrender. Despite being outnumbered, their courage and coordination turned the battlefield upside down. What should have been a stronghold for Russian forces became their downfall. By the end, the entire position was destroyed. Enemy troops were eliminated or captured. And the world saw once again that numbers mean nothing when faced with Ukrainian skill, bravery, and determination. 3 fighters, 1 drone, and unshakable willpower. That was all it took to erase a fortress. On the battlefield, a Ukrainian tank became the target of a Russian Lancet kamikaze drone. The strike came fast, diving toward the armored vehicle. But this time, the result was different. The tank's active protection system detected the threat and reacted instantly. A blast intercepted the drone before it could pierce the armor. The Lancet was destroyed. The tank remained intact, and the crew carried on the fight. A clear reminder: Ukrainian technology and resilience can stop even Russia's most feared weapons.